As presenters, are your funds for the musicians, your budget, is that coming from ticket sales, or is that coming from grants or funds that you raise specifically for that purpose?
It has come a lot from ticket sales from the previous, because our ticket sales have been very, very good, and our tickets are not cheap. And that's something that we've actually struggled with a lot, because the standard ticket pricing for classical music concerts does not go above, I don't know, people feel uncomfortable unless they're going to the New York Philharmonic to pay more than $40, let's say. But, because we're having wine and some food, and we have to literally rent so much equipment, chairs to get there, that our ticket prices are higher. And we were wondering how much that would affect the audience or people from buying. And luckily, actually, so far, we found that it doesn't affect it so much. Mm-hmm. That $75 in our gala, which is priced at $100, which seems like a lot, but if you really make it sort of an evening event, mm-hmm. It's not, and nobody feels like it was too much.
What would you advise other young entrepreneurial people in terms of how they can price their tickets? What do they need to think about? And what are the steps they need to take to get to a number?
Mm-hmm. What are you providing?
Well, it's all about, as I said, doing your budget and seeing what you have to get. What are you offering? How much is this going to cost? What are people going to get in return? So all of these things really combine to our ticket sale at the end, because this is, if we price a ticket at $75, it probably is because we have to pay for the wine, we have to pay for the musicians, we have to pay for every other thing that they're getting there. At the end, $75 or $80 is something that is considered quite high for classical music concerts, if it's not the New York Phil. But at the same time, it's not a lot at all for most people who just go out and get drinks. You go out to a club and you pay $150 just to get in. So it all depends on how you look at it and what you're getting in return. And if you're getting, for example, really high quality wine for it, mm-hmm. And you get world-class musicians and all those things together, it must cost something. It cannot be something for $20. Mm-hmm.
I actually think that's a point as a musician, because I think sometimes we could be taken advantage of, I always think about that when I have to have my super change my lamp, and I have to give him $5 or $10 for his time to come change a lamp, or anything, any auto problem, God forbid, you always assume that you're going to pay. And I think, musicians, because when we get out of school, we want the performance opportunity so much, and we love what we do so much, that many times we're often willing to play for nothing at all. And that's beautiful. But I think that for me, as a collective unit of musicians, I think that we also need to instill in people that music is not free. I hope you don't mind me saying this, it's something that we've worked so hard for. It's something that's so wonderful and that deserves worth, and monetary worth too, because monetary worth is what makes the world go round these days. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I think it's really important that musicians think about that and sort of stand up collectively, that art is not free. It's not, and it shouldn't be.
Absolutely. And many times people use that kind of logic of, well, you guys really love what you're doing. Well, that's great. Chefs love what they're doing, but nobody ever thinks of going to a restaurant and thinking, well, you love what you're doing. Why don't you make me a little dinner? I think it's really, really important to understand that we cannot be undervalued. And I think this is a pervasive thing in our society, that musicians are undervalued unless they're mega stars in probably a different genre than classical music.